Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the hybrid Saiyans Super Battle Red stage and how we can complete it with a fully free-to-play team. So of course, yeah, pretty interesting, the whole kind of like hybrid Saiyans team. In terms of free-to-play units, just keeping it super duper simple, basically using the new Int Easy Aid Ultimate Gohan alongside some pretty powerful units. Respectfully speaking, we've got some really good free-to-play options. You've got the Super Saiyan Trunks unit, you've got the Goku Jr. Vegeta Jr. unit, who we aren't using, but are an incredibly good unit. You've got the Strength B Pan unit as well, also a very powerful, strong free-to-play option. And then in terms of the rest of the team, so as the leader, as the friend lead, we've taken the Tech Hybrid Saiyans Gohan. However, you could take quite a few different options. I think all the Hybrid Saiyans leads would work here pretty well. Then we have the Super Strike Trunks. He's a really solid option. Who's going to be a really good pairing partner. And then we have the Great Saiyaman Gohan. So overall, a pretty decent team, like a pretty solid team. Nothing too wild, but one that's, I would say does the job really well. Starting with all of them, obviously going to talk about Prime Battle Trunks. His Easy A was pretty good. He raises defense on his 12 key, massively raises attack on his 18 key, 40% attack and defense, 40% attack and defense when performing a super attack, key +3 when facing only one enemy, key +8 when facing 2 or more enemies with an additional attack and defense of 40%, and he gets attack and defense of 40% when he strikes the finishing blow. So he's really good. He's actually really good in combination with the Trunks. So the Strength Trunks is actually a really good partner for him. Strength Trunks and him, the Super Strike one, they both share Cold Judgment, which is obviously a very strong link for them, and they share Royal Lineage as well, along with Shattering the Limit. So that's two really good links, plus they share Messenger from the future. So they share a good amount of link set. Obviously also the Strength Trunks as well gives additional buffs to the rest of the rotation. If they are Saviors category allies, obviously we don't always have that, but he does still give attack and defense at 20%. Plus, he shares a lot of good links with Trunks, so together they actually make a really powerful combo. So they are our one rotation, just through that sheer power that they have, like very strong. Then we're going to float Pan, so we're going to float the Strength Pan. Her Easy A made her very strong. She's also relatively easy to get. Like, again, I don't use units that I feel are too hard to get. A lot of these are units you can get before you take on SBR. So all of them are super viable units. Pan herself, pretty strong, does a decent amount of damage. Not a crazy amount, but if you build her crit, then she can do some decent damage, but her healing is the real big mechanism. She heals 33% of all damage dealt as health. She reduces damage received by 55%, which is fantastic. And she also has additional ki now, which is great. She has a medium chance of stunning the enemy as well, which is always something that's helpful in SBR and ESBR. Like, that ability to cause damage is something that's pretty strong, and it will help you out quite a bit. Then, before we talk about the friend lead, obviously we have the two Gohans that we are using, and we also have the Go 10. So the reason I'm not linking up the Gohan and the Go 10, just simply wanted to have the Tech Gohan as kind of a pseudo tank. But either of these units is pretty solid. We've linked up Ultimate Gohan with the Tech Gohan. The reason for that being is just that they basically share a decent link set. They've got all in the family, basically. They share the same lineage as well, which is pretty good. And they also share power bestowed by God. So decent link set between the two of them. I think that makes them a solid enough combo. Tech Gohan's great, guarding all attacks, plus an additional attack and 40% when he's in the same turn after being attacked, which is obviously solid. The Int Gohan links up pretty well with him. Attack and defense of 58%, plus an additional attack and defense of 58%, and a high chance of launching an additional attack when there is another Goku's family category ally in the same turn. So he's got that whole ability there. He can fire off multiple super attacks, which is great. He raises his attack as well on a super attack, and he gains an additional 20% attack and defense with each super attack performed. He's also Goku's family support, so he's giving some support to the Tech Gohan. You can build him full crit. He can fire off like 3 super attacks in a turn, and you're going to see him, he can do some pretty solid damage. Like we're going to see here, he can do some really decent damage. It's going to build up over time. His defense will be okay after he fires off a couple super attacks, and just in general he's pretty solid. His offensive capabilities are really good. And yeah, just overall the team runs pretty nicely all together. Then the last 2 units we are floating are Goten. Goten we're just floating because he's a really good unit, but I just felt like giving the spotlight to Ultimate Gohan. You could run Goten instead of him and switch Gohan to supporting. Goten does rely a little bit more on a Goku Angel or a Trunks Kid, and we'll see a lot more of him in our youth attempt at the Super Battle Road stage. So I thought let's just rather give Ultimate Gohan some time to shine. But Goten's great. He also lowers enemies' attack, which is obviously super helpful. And then we have the Great Saiyaman. Now the Great Saiyaman, the first stage he has a slight problem because he is facing a Pepe Gal's unit, and when he's facing a Pepe Gal's unit his super attack is sealed. That's his only real issue. But however, the second and the third phase you are facing an extreme class team, and that's where he really shines, because when he is facing extreme enemies he obviously gains a whole bunch of buffs. He has attack and defense of 158%. He's got an 18% evasion chance and an 18% crit chance. He has an additional attack and defense of 58% when attacking extreme class allies, which is great. And he also reduces damage received by 28% when there's a Pepe Gals or youth category ally attacking in the same turn. Overall, he looks really solid. He also raises attack and defense, and he lowers attack and defense of the enemy. So for the most part he's just good, really good, brings a lot of good stuff to the table. And yeah, for me, I don't know, I just really like how he works. I've always liked the Great Saiyaman. I think he's a fantastic free-to-play unit. I think he's a good example of how to build free-to-play units. And yeah, we'll definitely see a lot more of them as we go through these free-to-play
Time to get serious.
SBR clears. But yeah, we unfortunately couldn't avoid the Dokkan attack. Would have come in handy just a little bit in the final phase. Nothing too crazy, honestly. Like the last phase is against 2 physical units, so in reality it's not too much of a time save, but I mean it is something. It is, it would have been nice to keep it, but realistically speaking it's more than fine. The Hybrid Saiyans team is very strong, like very strong. The free-to-play units are exceptional, and overall it's just a very strong team, so you should have a lot of options to take on the free-to-play SBR, especially if you're using Hybrid Saiyans. There's still a lot of other decent options that I just didn't bring along that you could possibly sub in as well. If we're taking a look at, strictly speaking, Hybrid Saiyans, you're looking at the Goku Vegeta Jr. They're great. The physical Gohan, although his EZA is locked behind ESBR, so I don't really suggest bringing him. You've got the AGL Great Saiyaman Trunks unit, who's very solid. Not incredible, but very solid. Then you've got, obviously, the Prime Battle Gohan Kid, also fantastic unit. So you've got plenty of options. You've got Gotenks and Ghost as well. So yeah, I just think you have enough decent options to really kind of put a dent into the stage, and you shouldn't really have that many issues taking it on. But yeah, so if you are struggling with free-to-play SBR, or just taking on SBR in general, just remember that these are generic guides to give you an idea that it can be done free-to-play. There is an argument that can be made that sometimes it is even harder to do a free-to-play run in it is to do a summonable run, because if you look at units like Prime Battle Trunks, if you look at units like B-Pan, these are great free-to-play units, but they have quite sizable grinds associated with them. They're not, units that you're going to be able to just somewhat, finish or be able to just get instantaneously. They will take you quite a while, and they're going to have quite a grind associated with them. So it is highly advised that you take on these stages with summonable units. If you have summonable units, try and take on the stage. Of course, if you're looking for units to substitute in for the units that basically are here, I would wildly suggest that you look at some of these as an option. And these are some really great options when it comes to taking on these kind of events. So yeah, pretty much this is the Hybrid Saiyans SBR. Overall, it wasn't really that hard. It was pretty decent overall. I wouldn't say it was any harder than any others. I think it's one of the stages where you have probably the best selection of units, if not one of the best selections of units. So there's really no reason to have like a massive kind of concern or concerted look at what units you can use. Personally, I think it's just very, very much achievable, and I think there's plenty of options, free to play and summonable, that a lot of players really shouldn't have any issues with. Just be wary of this final phase. Broly can hit pretty hard. He can chunk some big boy damage, and he is pretty tough to handle. So just be a little bit careful of Broly. Be aware that he can hit you quite hard, and try and avoid having situations where int type characters are placed in a risk position. Use your items, that's what they're there for. Don't ever be afraid to use items. And if you don't want to use items, you can possibly start watching my no item challenge series, where I'm taking on all the stages with no items. And so you're welcome to have a look at that series if of course, you want to take a look at how that series is going. And there I take on all the stages essentially where I basically use no items whatsoever. It's obviously the complete inverse of this series. But yeah, so basically, to cut a long story short, Hybrid Saiyans SPR, pretty chill. Pretty easy and pretty chill. Kind of ran perfectly fine. Was really solid. So I don't think there was any major issues. I think anyone will be able to take on the stage, and I think overall you should have quite a good time. So yeah, but that's it. So pretty good run from me. I think everything went fine. Leave a comment down below or leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Obviously, if you need help, you can leave a comment down below and I'll try and help you out and give you some feedback. Maybe I can give you some suggestions. Maybe there's something you're struggling with. You're welcome to let me know. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I will be able to see you guys in the next video. But that's it from me. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. So until then, bye.